Good morning, everybody. Distinguished members of Parliament, esteemed mayors, honorable members of the European Parliament, representatives of civil society, dear friends, we are very much honored to have you here this morning. It is a great pleasure to welcome you here in Istanbul and especially in Fesane, a place where history has long intertwined with ideas, imagination, and cultural exchange. Today, we meet here to continue a dialogue that is essential not only for Turkey, but for Europe as well. A dialogue rooted in democracy, solidarity, and peace. Allow me to express my sincere appreciation to our partners from the Progressive Alliance of Socialists and Democrats. Your consistent and principled commitment to democratic values in Turkey, clearly reflected in the program for this seminar, is both meaningful and deeply encouraging. At a time when democratic norms are under pressure across the world, your solidarity stands out as a reminder that progressives do not retreat in difficult times. We advance together. We are truly grateful for this unwavering support. I would also extend my warm greetings on behalf of our chair, Özgür Özel, who was recently re-elected with a clear and decisive victory at our party congress. He very much wished to be here with us today, but due to an intense schedule, he couldn't join us in person. His leadership obviously reflects a new commitment to restoring trust, strengthening institutions, and renewing Turkey's European orientation. I also bring the heartfelt greetings of Ekrem İmamoğlu, the mayor of Istanbul Metropolitan Municipality, and our candidate for the presidency, who is very much keen in having your thoughts out of this very important meeting. Of course, in a meeting dedicated to defending democracy, his absence needs no further explanation. It quietly reminds us why this solidarity matters and why it matters today more than ever. In recent years, Turkey has faced a period of significant political strain. The erosion of judicial independence, the pressure on journalists and academics, the criminalization of civil society, and the restrictive use of law to silence dissent have raised serious concerns not only within Turkey but across Europe. These challenges are not theoretical. They are personal. They touch lives. We all know the examples. The politically charged case against Mayor Ekrem İmamoğlu, the continuous pressure placed on municipal administrations, the investigations that seem to appear or disappear in line with political interest, and the targeting of our party leadership, including CHP Chair Özgür Özel. These events, referenced in the program of this conference, are not isolated. They form a pattern. Let me state clearly, every time democracy is weakened, Turkey's progress is weakened. When courts lose independence, citizens lose confidence. When elected officials face unjust removal, institutions suffer. And when political competition becomes judicially distorted, the entire democratic fabric is strained. A Turkey that's distant from justice cannot be close to Europe, nor close to its own people. Yet, despite all the pressure, one thing remains unchanged: the resilience of Turkish democrats. The determination that lives in our cities, our civil society, our youth, and our voters continues to shine. Turkey's path towards Europe is not a temporary preference nor a political tactic. It's a natural direction shaped by our history, geography, economy, culture, and democratic aspirations. Since the founding of the Republic, the goal of building a modern, rules-based, democratic state aligned with Europe has been central to our national project. That aspiration endures, and it endures strongest among the new generations, the major cities, and the countless citizens who believe in fairness, transparency, and dignity. As the main opposition and the largest social democratic force in Turkey, CHP carries this responsibility with clarity and purpose. We approach the EU-Turkey relationship not as a favor offered or withheld, but as a strategic partnership rooted in the shared values and shared interests. Turkey does not seek Europe from a place of weakness. Turkey seeks Europe from a place of confidence and from the understanding that stability, prosperity, and global credibility require a firm commitment to democratic norms. At the same time, Europe needs Turkey for regional stability, for energy and trade routes, for climate resilience across the Mediterranean, for security partnerships, for economic interdependence, which already runs deep, and for sustaining the intercultural coexistence that has long connected European and Turkish societies. There is no version of European prosperity and stability without Turkey, and no version of Turkey's prosperity without Europe. We gather at a time of global uncertainty. Armed conflicts have returned to our region. Polarization and misinformation challenge democratic culture, while authoritarian tendencies are also on the rise across Europe. Economic disruptions and rapid technological change reshape societies faster than institutions can respond. Climate risks are intensifying across the Mediterranean. In such a world, neither Turkey nor Europe can act alone. This is a time for partnership, a partnership rooted in shared democratic values and mutual responsibility. But partnerships are built on trust, and trust must be earned through action. To rebuild and deepen the EU-Turkey relationship, we must focus on several key pillars. First, restoring the rule of law and judicial independence. This is foundational. Without trust in legal institutions, no democracy can function, no investor can feel secure, and no international partnership can advance with confidence. Second, empowering local governments. Turkey's municipalities have become the most dynamic laboratories of democratic innovation. Despite pressure, they have delivered results in transportation, social services, environmental policy, digitalization, and crisis response. They are natural partners of European municipalities. Third, strengthening people-to-people ties. Our strongest bridge to Europe is built by students, researchers, artists, civil society organizations, and families. We need more Erasmus exchanges, more academic partnerships, more cultural initiatives, and more civic cooperation. Fourth, modernizing the customs union. The economic relationship between Turkey and Europe is already deep-rooted, but outdated. A modern, fair, digital, green, and service-inclusive customs union will benefit workers and businesses on both sides. Fifth, deepening security cooperation. A democratic, predictable Turkey strengthens the entire transatlantic community. Energy security, migration management, counterterrorism, and regional diplomacy all require cooperation. However, ladies and gentlemen, we must acknowledge a difficult truth. EU-Turkey relations cannot fully advance as long as democratic backsliding persists on either side. The conference program itself highlights this. The crackdown on dissent, the harassment of opposition figures, the judicial targeting of elected officials, and the pressure on civil society. These are real obstacles. Let me be clear. These injustices do not reflect the will of the Turkish people. They reflect the insecurities of those who fear that will. Turkish citizens want what all democratic societies want: fairness, transparency, stability, and dignity. When those values are undermined, it's not the opposition alone that suffers. It is the republic itself. And behind every headline, there is a human story. A journalist unsure if truth-telling will endanger their freedom. An activist worried about their future. A mayor spending more time defending against audits than serving citizens. A parent uncertain whether their children will enjoy the freedoms they deserve. These are not side notes. They are the lived consequences of democratic decline. Yet, despite these challenges, I remain deeply optimistic, ladies and gentlemen. Everywhere I travel, from universities to city halls, from coastal communities to Anatolian towns, I see a new determination. A generation that rejects fear. Cities that innovate despite obstacles. A society that still believes in fairness and a European future. The recent elections demonstrated one truth very clearly. Turkey is not turning inward. Turkey is turning outward towards competence, integrity, and European norms. Our youth speak boldly. Our cities lead confidently. Our voters choose accountability. And our European partners continue to stand with us when principles are at stake. Your solidarity, especially during moments of political pressure, has mattered deeply. It does not interfere in our internal affairs. It strengthens our shared democratic foundation. As we look ahead, let us choose not frustration, but possibility. A democratic Turkey, a stronger Europe, and a partnership that reflects the best aspirations of both. Under the leadership of Chairman Özgür Özel, CHP is committed to rebuilding Turkey's European path with courage, integrity, and renewed purpose. Even when he cannot be physically present at moments like this, his message and our shared mission is very clear. Turkey must reclaim its rightful place among Europe's democratic nations. Let today be remembered not just as another conference, but as a moment when progressives from Turkey and Europe join together to affirm, one, we choose democracy, we choose solidarity, we choose peace, and we choose a future built together. Thank you very much. It's an honor to be among friends. Thank you.